All right, we have made it almost to May. We are going to have test number 19 tomorrow. You're going to take it on the computer. So today we are going to review for that test. Your homework is going to be almost the same thing as the test, just different numbers. So if you can do all of your homework today, that will prepare you for the test tomorrow. So especially today, if you miss one, go back and do it again. See if you can get 20 out of 20 on today's homework. That is the best way to study for the test, okay? We are going to, today for the video, we're just going to go over the first 13 that are on your homework. I will give you the answers if you work with them. If you work through the problems with me today, you'll have the answer to the first 13 problems. 14 through 20, those problems are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So you should be able to know how to do those, or there are other videos that you can watch on my YouTube channel that show you how to do those things. Okay, we're just going to go over kind of some of the random stuff that maybe we've talked about a long time ago that we don't remember. We're going to talk about word problems, the ones that are usually a little bit trickier for people. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is number 1, our friend Fran. All right, Fran is 4 years older than Eloise. Eloise is twice as old as Hector. If Hector is 5 years old, how old is Fran? I don't know if you remember, we did these quite a while ago. It's a 2-step word problem. 2 steps, okay? So we need to figure out how old Fran is. But before that, we are going to need to figure out how old Eloise is, and then figure out how old Fran is. Eloise, but we do know how old Hector is. Hector is 5 years old. Hector is 5 years old. So now let's work backwards. Eloise is twice as old as Hector. So how old is Eloise if she's twice as old as Hector? We would do 5 times 2, so Eloise is 10. Okay, so now Fran is 4 years older than Eloise. So Eloise is 10, Fran is 4 years older than her, so how old is Fran? We would do 4 plus 10, which is 14. So Fran, our friend Fran, is 14 years old. So this is your answer to number 1, 14 years old. Please make sure you know how to do that one, because that is going to be the first question on your home, or the first question on the test tomorrow. It's not going to talk about age. It's going to talk about points and a board game, but it's going to be a 2-step word problem. Okay? All right, number 2. What shape is this? Think about it. You've seen it before. Is it a triangle, rectangle, square, parallelogram, cylinder, trapezoid? It is a trapezoid. Trapezoid. Okay? You guys got lucky because on the homework you're actually supposed to draw a trapezoid, but you can't draw on a computer, so you guys got lucky. I drew it for you and you just have to name it. All right, we are going to go down to number 3 and 4. We'll do these ones together. Okay, just so you guys know, on the test tomorrow, the answer is not going to be trapezoid. It's going to be a different shape. So please just make sure you know the shapes. You need to know what a parallelogram is. You need to know what a rectangle is, a square, a trapezoid. You need to know what all of those shapes look like. Okay, so be smart on the test tomorrow. Don't just choose trapezoid because that's what it was today. Okay, number 3, it will cost $1.83 to mail the package. Mara put 3 39-cent stamps on the package. How much more postage does the package need? Okay, so again, a 2-step word problem. So it's going to cost $1.83 to mail the package total. This is what Mara has already put on the package. She's put 3 39-cent stamps. So in order to figure out how much money that is, we are going to have to multiply, right? So I'm going to set it up like this, because that is 39 cents times 3, okay? 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. 3 plus 0 is, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And bring down that decimal. So how much money has she already put on the package? $1.17. So she's already put $1.17 on the package, but she needs a total of $1.83. So how much more postage does she need? How much more postage? That is our keyword for subtracting when it says how much more. So we're going to do $1.83 minus $1.17. We cannot do 3 minus 7. So we're going to have to borrow 13 minus 7 is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6. Decimal 0, or 1 minus 1 is 0. So we've got 66 cents. 66 cents is the answer to number 3. Number 3, the answer is 66 cents. All right, number 4. This one, I think, is the hardest question on the test. Okay, so stay with me. If you want to watch this part a few times, you can. This is really, I think, the hardest part on the test. I'm going to try to give you a couple hints on how to solve this. Okay, 33 desks were arranged in 6 rows as evenly as possible. Okay, let's scroll down just a little bit so you can see what A and B say. We are solving 2 problems. Yeah, we'll just do it right here. We are solving 2 problems in this one question, A and B. Okay, so 33 desks were arranged in 6 rows. Your questions say how many rows, how many rows. How many rows do you have total? You have 6 rows. Okay, especially because it's multiple choice. Be smart about it. Look at the answers. If one of the answers says 7 rows have this many people and 3 rows have this many people, you know that that's way too many rows because you only have 6 rows, right? So make sure that your answers, the answer to this question and the answer to that question, should add up to equal 6. So whatever your answer is for A plus your answer to B should add up to equal 6. Okay, now let me show you how to actually solve the problem. So we've got 33 desks. 33 desks. We are trying to arrange them into 6 rows. So I'm going to divide by 6. 6 goes into 33 how many times? It only goes in 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. 33 minus 30 is 3. Okay, so that means some of the desks are going to have 5 desks. But we have these 3 extra desks. So we are going to have to put some of those desks in some of the rows that have 5. So if we didn't care about these 3 extra desks, then we would have 6 rows that had 6 rows that have 5 desks each. Okay, I know this is kind of hard. There's a lot of pictures that you can draw for this, but I want you to see it because like I said, I do think this is the hardest question on the test. Okay, so 6 rows have 5 desks each because 6 times 5 is 30. Unfortunately, we can't just stop there, right? We have these 3 extra desks. Okay, so we've got to add 1 desk here, 1 desk here, 1 desk here. That's 3 desks, so now we're done. So that means this many desks have 6 desks in it. Sorry, this many rows, 3 rows have 6 desks, and then these 3 rows only have 5 desks. So your answer is going to be 3 for both of them, but that is how you get that number. Now let's check it. Remember what I said before, how you can check your answer? 6 rows up here. We have 6 rows total. What is 3 plus 3? Does that equal 6? If it does equal 6, then you are correct. Okay? Well, you're more correct than you would be if it didn't equal 6. Okay? It's not 2 and 4. 2 plus 4 equals 6 as well. But look, we've got 3 rows that have 6 desks, and we've got 3 rows that have 5 desks. So you still do need to figure out what your remainder is going to be. That remainder is how many desks are going to have the bigger number, that remainder. Okay? Hopefully that was helpful. If you want to watch that again, draw the picture with me. If the more problems like this you see, the more practice you'll get, and you'll get a hang of it very, very soon, I hope. All right, we're going to go down to number 5. Number 5 says, all right, what percent of this circle is shaded? Dark blue. Okay, dark blue, what percent? We just talked about this, I think yesterday, right? So what percent of this circle is shaded dark blue? So that's this part right here, the dark blue part. What percent of it is shaded? Well, we know the fraction is 1/4. So what did we talk about the other day? 1/4 equals 25%. 25%. Okay. Let's move on to number 6. The answer to number 5 is 25%. Okay, number 6. We are going to, well, it's all right. We'll just go down, or yeah, hit enter maybe. It's okay, just go up. All right, so on this one, we are going to talk about the part that is shaded and then the part that's not shaded. The part that's shaded and then the part that is not shaded. Okay? So you're going to, on your homework and on the test, you're going to see a picture. Just go, it's fine. Just go to the bottom. Great. Okay, so you're going to see a picture that looks like this, and you are going to have to count and figure out how much is shaded and how much is not shaded. You're going to write it as a decimal. Okay, so look at that and figure out what part is shaded. The darker part is shaded, so we know that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48 hundredths, because there are 100 of these. So 48 hundredths is shaded. And what part is not shaded? 48 hundredths is shaded. And then you could do 1 minus 0.48, or you could just count the not shaded parts. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52. 0.52 is not shaded. Okay, 48 hundredths is shaded, 52 hundredths is not shaded. If you added up these numbers, you would end up with 1, which is perfect because it's either shaded or it's not shaded. You can't have something in between that, so you should end up with 1. Okay, so the answer to number 6, there are 2 parts to this. On your homework, the answer is going to say 48 hundredths is shaded and 52 hundredths is not shaded. So go ahead and write that down. And then we will move on to number 7. Number 7 says, which digit is in the hundredths place in this number right here? Okay, I realize the screen is kind of small, so I'm just going to write this number a little bit bigger over here. Okay, which number or which digit in that number is in the hundredths place? Hundredths place. We talked about this. Hundredths place. This is the tens, ones, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So the hundredths place is the 7. The 7 is in the hundredths place. Okay, now we are going to move on. We are going to estimate the product, so multiplication. Estimate the product of 37 and 51, and then find the exact product. So on your homework and on the test, you are going to have to do both of these. You're going to estimate and then actually find the product. Okay, actually find the real answer. So if we were to round 37 to the nearest 10, we would get 40. If we were to round 51 to the nearest 10, we would get 50. So that's what we're going to do. We're estimating first. Remember my trick with the zeros? Cross off the 2 zeros, put the 2 zeros there. Then I just do 5 times 4, which is 20. So that's the estimate. The estimate is 2,000. Now we're actually going to find the exact product. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 3 is 3. Put my 0 down there. 5 times 7 is 35. Put my 3 up there. 5 times 3 is 15. 16, 17, 18. Adding my 3. So your exact product is 1,887. Okay, so for your homework, number 8, your estimate is 2,000 and your exact product, the exact answer is 1,887. Okay. All right, number 9, Beth bought a meter of ribbon and used about 1/4 of it to make a bow. So she bought 1 meter of ribbon and used 1/4 of it. About how many millimeters of ribbon did Beth use to make the bow? So she bought how many millimeters? We know she bought 1 meter, but how many millimeters is that? That is something that you need to know for your test. So if you don't know this, write this down. 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. Centimeters, 100 centimeters, or 1,000 millimeters. Okay, so you do need to know how many millimeters are in a meter. So she used 1/4 of the 1,000 millimeters. So about how many millimeters of ribbon did she use? We are going to do 1,000. That's how much she has total, and we're finding 1/4 of that. So we're going to do 4 goes into 1,000 how many times? Okay. Actually going to write it up here so that we have we have more room for our long division. Can 4 go into 1? Nope. Can 4 go into 10? Yes, it can go in 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down this 0. Can 4 go into 20? Yes, it can. It can go in 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. Am I done? No, we have the 1 more 0 to bring down. Bring that down. Can 4 go into 0? 0 times 4 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. Do not forget that last step there. Okay? Don't forget that, because if you get the answer 25, that is not 1/4 of 1,000. 25 is way smaller than 250. So don't forget that part right there. Okay? You are going to need to know how to do this. I will tell you on the test tomorrow, it's going to look super, super similar to this. You're just going to have a different fraction. Okay? So make sure you know that you divide by the denominator. That's how we did that. We said, oh, look, that's 4, so I'm going to divide by 4. Okay? All right, now we're going to move on to number 10. We're going to find the area of this rectangle. The area of this rectangle. How do we find the area? We multiply. So we're going to multiply 50 times 80. Remember my trick with the zeros. 80 times 50. Just cross off those 2 zeros, put the 2 zeros down here, right? Now I just have to do 8 times 5, which is 40. So my answer is 4,000 square feet. Okay, 4,000 square feet. People write it like that, or they write it like feet squared. Okay, both of those are correct. So that is number 10. We only have a couple more, number 11, number 12, and number 13, and then I will let you go. Okay, number 11 says there are 24 students in the class. 24 students in the class. 2/3 of them are reading books. How many students are reading books? So we are finding 2/3 of 24. All right, 2/3 of 24. So we are going to do something very similar to what we just did with the ribbon, with the millimeters of ribbon. Okay, we are going to take the denominator and divide that into our number. So we've got 24 divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Okay, but that's not the answer, because 24 divided by 3 is 8, which is great. That's 8, but that's only 1/3 of the 24 students. But we want 2/3 of the 24 students. So now the next step to this problem, we take 8 and we multiply it by 2. 8 times 2 is 16. So the answer is 16 students are reading books. Okay? That's one way you can do it. Or when you get 8, you could say, all right, we have 24 students, and 8 of them, we found 1/3. So 2/3 are reading books. That means 1/3 are not reading books. And 8 is the same as 1/3. So if 1/3 are not reading books, I'm going to subtract that from the total amount in the class, and I'm going to get how much 2/3 is, which is 16. Okay? Personally, I think it's easier just to multiply it by the 2 up there. I would do it this way, but both of those ways are correct. Okay? Number 12, Cedric drove 364 miles in 7 hours. If Cedric drove at a steady speed, how far did he drive in 1 hour? Okay, so he drove 364 miles in 7 hours. We are trying to figure out how far he drove in 1 hour. In order to do that, we need to divide this big number by 7. Okay, long division. Let's go through the steps. We'll kind of go through it a little bit slow for those of you that this is kind of difficult for you. We'll go through it sort of slow, and then we'll do number 13, and then I'll let you go. Okay, 7 cannot go into 3, but can it go into 36? It can. How many times? 7 times what gives us a number close to 36, but it doesn't go over? 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Now step number 3 is to subtract. 36 minus 35 is 1. Step number 4, bring down my 4. Okay, so now we're going to start the steps all over again. I'm going to switch colors so you can see the different steps, or the different rounds of the steps. Okay, so now we're going to do 7 goes into 14 how many times? It can go in 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Step number 3, subtract. 14 minus 14 is 0. There's nothing to bring down, so that means my remainder is 0. My answer is 52. 52 miles. 52 miles for number 12. Okay, and then the very last one, number 13, we'll just scroll down, and this is our very last one. We just did these a couple days ago, so I think you will be able to know how to do this real quick. On your homework, it looks like this. Write 67 over 100 as a decimal number. Okay, we just talked about this. Remember, you have your 0 and then your decimal. We don't have a number out here, so that's why we put 0. Decimal, I should have 1, 2 digits after that decimal. I have 1, 2 digits, so that's the answer, 0.67. You're going to write that as a decimal number. Okay, like I said, on the homework, this video just told you all of the answers for the first 13 problems. You are going to have to do 14 through 20 on your own, but like I said, they are all addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division of some sort. Okay, some of it's with money, some of it's with multiples of 10, things like that, okay? But you're welcome to go back and watch some other videos to help you with those problems, but these questions are going to be very, very similar to your test tomorrow. Remember, on your test tomorrow, you are not allowed to use your notes or your older brother, older sister, or your mom or your dad or your grandma. You need to just do it from what you can remember. So today would be a great day to study so that you're prepared for that test, okay? If you know how to do all of these problems on the homework today, you will be fine for the test tomorrow. Okay, feel free to email me or message me in Canvas if you have a question about any of these concepts. If you need me to make a video about something else, let me know, because I am here to help you. And I hope that you guys all do so well on the test tomorrow. I believe that you can do good things. Okay, you're great. Good luck tomorrow, and have a good weekend after you take your test tomorrow.